the co-founder and group CEO at MakeMyTrip. And Mr. Rajesh, hi, thanks so much for your time today. Help us understand, with the festive season kickstarting slightly earlier this year compared to the last year, how is overall sentiment around festival travel looking like this time?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You're absolutely right. It has started early this year, and we are quite happy about that because the moment the sentiment and the mood swings towards festivities, the spending in general increases, and we are seeing that similar sort of trend for travel as well. Early days of October, we've started to see some positive moments on. People started to book in advance for longer weekends, around the Diwali period. And even starting to sort of look at, later during the holidays period, whether it's Christmas or New Year. And we've seen that, in the last few days, pretty consistent already. And I guess, not only the festive season starting early, it's also the general season, high season quarter for travel as well. And seasonality seems to be kicking in early as well. And also there is some impact this time around is also going to be, the GST announcement that happened in general, right? So, overall sort of consumption is expected to do better in the second half. And I think this is the quarter that will show, sort of a impact of all these, things coming together, hopefully very, very positive.
Indeed. Hi, Mr. Shrishti also joining in, but help us understand which are the hot destinations for the type of trips that people are planning, because now that we will see the winter season kicking in, winter holidays and lots more, year-end as well. Where are we getting to see the most excitement in India as well as in abroad? Where is the preference?
Yeah, no, happy to share, and there are quite a few. The first and foremost, Goa is back, which is good news. And Goa has always been sort of top of the mind destination for the travelers in India. It was, it had slowed down a little bit in the past, but it is coming back now with a bang. And then the other, sort of favorite state with many destinations in it during the winter season is actually Rajasthan. So you have Udaipur, you have Jodhpur, you have Jaisalmer, you have Jaipur, all these Rajasthan cities offer a lot, and they become strong preference for the consumers during the winter season as well. And then you start looking at even the hills, because people would also want to even have winters, some cohorts going to the hills. And there the Dharamshala scores quite well as well. And there's some, it's always not only because of the season, but sometimes it's all the demand also revolves around some event happening. So if there's a cricket match happening in Dharamshala, you would see demand growing there. And down south, you would see, the usual destinations that do quite well is Coorg, of course, Kovalam, and Ooty, for that matter. And then, last but not the least is also Port Blair, Andamans. And, you saw SpiceJet announcement, direct flight going to Port Blair. Port Blair is clearly a good destination for the Indian travelers as well. So, these are the domestic destinations which are quite hot, which is more leisure. And I must add one very important sort of point during this festival season, particularly. There's a lot of VFR, going back home kind of travel that happens. And there, all the top metros score quite high. We see a lot of the booking surge happening on the top metro cities as well during this time, because people want to go back home and celebrate Diwali, etc. Coming to the international destinations, the UAE, Dubai, and combination of VFR and leisure, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam. Now, within Vietnam, very interesting destination that is getting a lot of traction is called Phu Quoc. In fact, we are starting, this winter direct charter flights for that, trying to sort of open up that market even more for Indians, because it hasn't really people are not necessarily, lot more aware of this new destination. We had done this kind of activity back in the days for Phuket in Thailand as well. And this time around, we are seeing some very interesting sort of experiences that Phu Quoc has to offer in Vietnam, and Vietnam in general is sort of gaining traction as well. So Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Dubai, and then European destinations.
Okay, so that's a long list of where we're seeing good demand right now, and of course some of the popular destinations as well. But Mr. Rajesh, talk to us about spiritual tourism. Now, ever since the Kumbh Mela earlier this year, this segment has picked up steam. Do you see this momentum continuing? Because pilgrimages and spiritual tourism, how does that stack up against regular travel?
I think it's a great point. And again, not necessarily on the seasonality. See, some part of the trend that we have seen is continuing and sustained. But during festivals also, this sort of, further momentum grows, for pilgrimage travel as well. And it's quite broad-based now. It's not necessarily only sort of visiting temples and offering prayers. It's also, just combining it with the leisure trip, if you will. The destinations that are doing, at least, early days of October that we've seen from growth perspective are doing quite well are actually Puri, Haridwar, Ayodhya, Rishikesh, kind of destinations. And they're only going to grow. We had recently launched a full pilgrimage travel trend sort of report, and which suggested that there are as many as some broad 54 odd cities that attract a lot of the pilgrimage travelers, if you will. And within that, there are about 25 cities were growing at about 25%. The overall growth was double digit for about 54 cities as well. So it's also quite broad based, given the fact that the whole of India travels for pilgrimage, and they look for closer destination and sometimes looking for newer destinations. And I think, during Diwali, Ayodhya is definitely going to see a lot of growth.
All right, Mr. Magow, quite very interesting developments for Make My Trip, but you really made us think that where we should plan our next trip. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us and helping us understand the latest trend in the industry.
Thank you.
We have with us Mr. Sriram Subramanian from InGovern. Mr. Subramanian, my first question to you is about the timing. When the regulator has used the word May about 8:45 a.m. till 5 p.m., do you think exchanges are going to take that?
Thanks for having me on the program. Definitely, see, this is because of that optional T+0 settlement system. That's the reason why there is a usage of the word may. I think exchanges definitely benefit from this because they are anyway market infrastructure providers and also other market participants, which is companies and institutional investors, are definitely going to avail of this. Of course, there are restrictions on the minimum amount, which is now it has been enhanced from rupees 10 crores to rupees 25 crores. Two is there is a restriction on the pricing. It has to be plus minus 3% of the VWAP price. So all these are there. So from that perspective, it's a welcome development as far as the market participants are concerned.
You mentioned about T+0 settlement, and that was something which I was coming next. Is it a backdoor entry kind of a thing from market regulator to focus more on T+0 settlement, because that has been on back burner for some time?
No, in fact, T+0 is already available as an optional for the top 100 market cap. It was there. Now it has been enhanced to top 500. So I think there is now this provision for block deals also. So I think the fact is that our market infrastructure is able to settle in a T+0 mode is a known fact. And I think market participants are geared up to execute these kind of transactions. And there are, of course, large block deals happening now where promoters are selling off X percentage of their shares. Mutual funds and foreign institutional investors and insurance companies and pension funds are also able to buy or sell large block deals without impacting the price. So from that perspective, I think these are welcome developments.
Right. Also mentioning about the calculation, as you mentioned about VWAP, there will be calculation for that between 1:45 to 2 p.m. That average price will be taken for the evening window. I want to understand how much of the difference will be there in the current system and the new system which will be adopted.
So I think the difference per se is obviously in the quantity, which is minimum is 25 crores. Two is the difference in terms of the settlement happening in a T+0 mode. So from that perspective, the cash flow of all the market participants is enhanced or speeded up. So all these are, I would think, welcome developments towards ensuring there is quick execution on the markets.
All right, we'll leave it at that, and we hope that more liquidity is into the system and more companies are able to do block deals in a way which now regulator wants to enable them. Thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us, Mr. Subramanian.
Today on World Sight Day, we are reminded that 2.2 billion people worldwide live with vision impairment and 1 billion of these